I always knew Blueface was pretty stupid. I'll tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100. Let me tell you how this works. When you sign to a label, they take at least half already. Then you're getting managed by the guy who owns the label. So of your 50% that you're getting, or less than 50%, he's still taking at least 20% of that too. It's double dipping.
Blueface thought Wack100 was his manager and partner in business. But really, he's been getting played out of serious money for years now. Here's how one of hip-hop's most talked about managers executed one of the game's biggest finesse moves while everyone watched. Coming straight out of LA, Wack100's known as a music manager and someone who's been around the block in this industry. His claim to fame? Handling artists that stir up drama and running his mouth whenever cameras are rolling. Real name Cash Jones, Wack100 made his name in the streets first, then flipped that into the music world. His rosters included big names like The Game and Ray J over the years, but what he's doing with Blueface? That might be the smoothest and shadiest play he's ever made. On the flip side, Blueface was just some kid from LA who randomly blew up in the rap game. Government named Jonathan Porter, he was deep in the streets when he randomly caught fire online with a hit song. Back then, didn't understand nothing about this industry. Contracts, deals, none of that. Just a street kid who rapped in a weird flow that somehow connected with people. Perfect setup for somebody like Wack100 to make moves on. Picture this. You got this young cat who just blew up overnight. No representation, no attorney, completely green to how this business operates. Cash coming in, but he's clueless about securing it or setting up proper agreements. That's exactly when Wack100 came circling like he smelled blood. The way Blueface tells it, Wack100's daughter caught wind of that hit song and put her dad onto it. Next thing you know, Wacks hitting up Blueface's inbox trying to link up, but Blueface wasn't rushing to meet him. Why? Because if you look up Wack100 online, it's nothing but mess and problems everywhere. Blueface straight up said he was keeping his distance because of what people were saying. He mentioned, when you search him up, what folks say about dude, it's all wild stuff. Wack100 stayed persistent though, kept calling Blueface non-stop, pushing him to pull up to his crib for a sit-down. Blueface dodged those calls until one of his boys convinced him to at least listen to what the man had to offer. During this time, Blueface was running everything solo, booking his own performances, directing his own visuals, the whole nine. Big labels like Atlantic and Empire were reaching out too, but he felt like they couldn't relate to where he came from in the streets. So one afternoon, Blueface was posted up at the park in his neighborhood just vibing when Wack100 started blowing his line up again, pressing him to come through. Blueface wasn't trying to go, but Wack actually sent a whip to come scoop him. When Blueface rolled up to Wack100's estate, he was blown away immediately. He said something like, when you see someone who's really got it like that, you think, okay, I'm trying to get on that level. And that's exactly what Wack100 was banking on, flashing his success and lifestyle to make Blueface believe he could deliver that same thing. Now this is where things get real sketchy. Wack100 already had paperwork drawn up and waiting when Blueface walked through the door. Let that sink in. Legal documents were sitting there before they'd even had a real conversation about business. That's straight predator moves right there. But the most calculated part? What went down after that? Blueface looked over at Wack100's wife and asked her dead serious, "Would you tell your own kid to sign something like this? Like if I was your son, you'd say this is good?" And she looked him in the eye and said, "Yes." Off that one answer from Wack's wife, Blueface put his name on those papers right there on the spot. No legal counsel, no time to actually read through the terms, no clue what he was really agreeing to. He just signed it because he believed a mother figure wouldn't do him dirty. Now here's where Wack100's whole scheme gets revealed. What Blueface signed wasn't simply a management contract. It was a label agreement and management contract rolled into one. That means Wack100's getting paid from both ends on the same money coming in. As the label, Wack100's taking 50% of everything Blueface makes from music immediately. Then on top of that, as manager, he's grabbing another 20% of what Blueface has left over. Run those numbers. That's 70% of Blueface's earnings flowing directly into Wack100's pockets. DJ Academics laid this whole thing out on his show and called it what it really is, getting paid twice from the same pot.
I always knew Blueface was pretty stupid. I'll tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100. Let me tell you how this works. When you sign to a label, they take at least half already. Then you're getting managed by the guy who owns the label. So of your 50% that you're getting, or less than 50%, he's still taking at least 20% of that too. It's double dipping.
Usually, you're either dealing with a label contract or a management agreement, not both coming from the same person. That's a major conflict because your manager's job is getting you the best possible deals. But how's that gonna work when he's also the one cutting your checks? To put it in perspective, typical management agreements run between 15 to 20%, and standard label deals usually split things 50-50 once costs get paid back. But Wack100 set this whole thing up, so he's eating good from both plates, while Blueface gets the short end from every direction. What makes it worse is this ain't no quick arrangement either. These types of agreements usually lock you in for several projects and years, meaning Wack100's been pocketing 70% of what Blueface earns for years straight, and that's not stopping anytime soon. Jump to right now and you can see exactly what this setup did to him. Blueface just got released and came back home with empty pockets. Really sit with that for a second. Someone who had platinum hits and was one of the hottest names in rap not too long ago is now facing money problems. Even that seafood spot he was pushing isn't pulling in numbers like it should. When you're only holding on to 30% of what you make, building something stable or investing for later becomes nearly impossible. The majority of his bread's been flowing straight to Wack100. Word is, Blueface might even have to let go of his property. This right here shows you how these types of agreements can wreck an artist's financial future completely. While Wack100's living large in big houses and showing off on social media, the person who actually made the music is going broke. The wild part? Blueface is still stuck in this arrangement. Even if he wanted out tomorrow, these contracts are built to be almost unbreakable, unless you're ready to pay huge fees or get into costly legal wars. Keep in mind, Blueface was young and green when he put his signature on this. He was probably around 21, fresh from the streets with zero knowledge about business. Wack100 saw that inexperience and used it to lock him into something that benefits Wack way more than the person actually making the art. This goes beyond just Blueface's situation. This is about a whole pattern in this industry where older cats with experience take advantage of young artists who don't know better. They play mind games, flash their success, and push urgency so these artists sign without getting proper help. Looking back now, there were tons of warning signs Blueface should have noticed. Papers ready before any real talk, mixing label and management into one deal, no time given for legal eyes on it. All classic moves from someone trying to take advantage. The slickest part was bringing Wack100's wife into it to make the deal seem legit. That's manipulation on another level, making the artist feel like they're getting motherly wisdom when really they're walking into a setup. Knowing the business is everything. This whole mess proves why artists gotta learn about the business side of their craft. If Blueface understood basic contract language or had an attorney look at it, he could have dodged this entire trap. From Wack100's angle, he probably thinks he's justified since he did help Blueface get bigger shows and navigate the industry. But taking 70% of what someone earns is wild, no matter how you spin it, especially when that person's doing all the creative heavy lifting. The power setup here is completely one-sided. Wack100's controlling Blueface's career path, his money, his business moves, all of it. That's not being partners, that's straight ownership. And when you control someone's career like that, you basically run their finances however you want. What's really messed up is how trapped Blueface is right now. Breaking free from these types of deals, that's a whole nightmare. You're looking at paying back advance money, covering attorney fees, and possibly owing even more than what's in your account. Meanwhile, Blueface is out here selling assets and stressing over bills, while Wack100's still cashing in on that 70% from every move he makes. We're talking about millions that never should have left the artist's hands in the first place. Here's what every upcoming artist needs to burn into their memory. Never put pen to paper without legal representation checking it first. Doesn't matter if your own mama's recommending the deal. Get independent counsel. Too many industry OGs position themselves like they're your mentor or pops, but behind closed doors, they're calculating their next payday. A real mentor isn't draining 70% of your pockets, period. That mansion and luxury lifestyle Wack100 was flexing, that wasn't just success, that was bait. He knew exactly what he was doing, showing off that wealth to make Blueface think linking up would get him there too. What Blueface couldn't see through was how Wack built all that by taking massive percentages from multiple artists over the years, not from his own creative output. The destruction these contracts cause goes way deeper than bank accounts. When you can't turn your success into actual wealth, you can't pour back into your community. You can't secure your family's future or set up your kids and their kids. Instead, you're stuck in a cycle where the same system exploiting you is the only thing you can depend on. If Blueface had a decent entertainment lawyer in that room, they would have shut this down immediately. A competent attorney would have separated these into different agreements, or at minimum, slashed those percentages down to something reasonable. Better yet, if there were actual educational programs teaching new artists about what's normal versus what's exploitative, Blueface would have recognized that 70% cut for what it really was: highway robbery with paperwork attached. Even just talking to other artists who'd been through management situations could have changed everything. They would have pointed out every single red flag waving in his face. And honestly, just taking a week to sit with the decision and research what standard deals look like would have been worth millions in the long run. But Wack manufactured that false sense of urgency specifically to prevent any of that from happening. Don't forget, Blueface had legitimate interest from major players like Atlantic and Empire. Sure, those corporate deals come with their own issues, but at least he wouldn't be handing over 70% to a single individual who controls every aspect of his career. Fast forward to today, and Blueface is living proof of what happens when you sign the wrong paperwork. Fresh out of jail with nothing in his pockets, businesses struggling, forced to liquidate property, and Wack100 still collecting off every dollar that comes through. The irony cuts deep. Blueface's talent and viral success built Wack100's wealth, but the contract structure made sure Blueface couldn't build anything lasting for himself. It's like grinding at a job where your boss drives a Bentley while you're taking the bus, except there's no quitting. So what options does Blueface even have at this point? Try to renegotiate? Wack100 has zero motivation to give up his golden goose. Attempt to break the contract? That legal battle would cost more than Blueface probably has access to right now. His only real choice is keep working under these conditions and hope the sheer volume of output leaves him with enough from that 30% to survive on. Beyond just the financial hit, think about what this does to someone mentally and creatively. How motivated can you stay when you know for every dollar you earn, 70 cents disappears into someone else's account? That kind of reality drains your passion real quick. And you can bet other artists are watching this unfold, taking mental notes on what not to do. The relationship dynamic here isn't what it should be between manager and artist. Real managers are in service of their artists. They're trying to maximize what the artist takes home, not structure elaborate schemes to funnel money into their own accounts. What Blueface ended up with resembles those extreme 360 deals everyone talks about, except somehow even worse. Most 360 agreements don't reach anywhere near 70%. That's just predatory on a different level. If this kind of contract structure becomes the new normal, we're looking at a dangerous shift in how the entire industry treats emerging talent. Other managers might start testing similar waters, betting that hungry artists will accept terrible terms just to get their foot in the door. These business conflicts have a way of destroying whatever personal connection existed too. Blueface likely looked up to Wack100 at first, saw him as someone genuinely trying to help. Realizing you've been getting played this whole time by someone you trusted? That cuts different. The ripple effects hit everyone around the artist too. Blueface has kids, has family counting on him, people who should be benefiting from his success. Instead, the bulk of that money's been redirected to Wack100's bank account. And the psychological toll of dealing with money stress, legal complications, and feeling completely trapped in a bad situation can really mess someone up. Success is supposed to bring security and freedom, not add more weight to carry. Think about the motivation problem too. When you're only keeping 30% of what you generate, where's the incentive to go all out creatively? Why push yourself to maximum capacity when someone else reaps most of the reward? The industry desperately needs stronger protective measures for young artists facing these predatory setups. There should be actual limits on how much can be taken from artists' earnings, especially when they're new and don't know any better. What if there was a mandatory cooling off period before any major contract could be finalized? A required waiting window where independent legal review had to happen. That simple change could save artists from making impulse decisions that haunt them for decades. The industry should be investing in real education programs. Teach artists about contract terminology, industry benchmarks, and basic business principles before they even start entertaining deals. Veteran artists who've been through the ringer need to step up more, actively mentor the next generation, and sound the alarm about common scams and shady practices they've witnessed. Maybe contracts should be required to include a clear breakdown showing exactly what percentage is being taken and how that compares to industry standards. Make it impossible for artists to miss what they're actually agreeing to. At the core of all this, Blueface is the one who got hurt. A young kid who caught lightning in a bottle with a viral moment. But instead of that setting up his future, it became the foundation for someone else's wealth. But this isn't just one artist's bad luck. It's a symptom of a much larger disease in the industry where experienced vultures prey on inexperienced talent. Until that fundamental problem gets addressed, these stories will keep repeating. The key takeaway that can't be stressed enough: knowledge protects you. If Blueface had understood even the basics of contract law and industry standards, this entire situation could have been prevented. Every artist coming up needs to treat the business education as seriously as perfecting their craft. Trust is fine, but verify everything through independent sources. Someone appearing successful or trustworthy doesn't automatically mean they're looking out for your interests. When you're faced with business decisions, force yourself to think past the immediate moment. What looks attractive today might be draining your pockets for the next decade. Hopefully, watching this situation play out pushes the industry toward actual reform. Maybe future artists get better protections. Maybe managers operating like this face real consequences for their actions. Blueface's legacy is going to be complicated now, remembered as much for getting finessed as for his music. But if his experience becomes the cautionary tale that saves other young artists from similar fates, then at least something meaningful comes from the pain. To every young artist reading this, learn from what happened here. Lawyer up. Understand every clause in your contracts and never let anyone rush you into signing documents you haven't fully processed. The financial decisions you make today determine whether you build wealth or spend years working for someone else's benefit. This industry can be incredible when it operates with integrity, but it can just as easily chew you up and spit you out. Stay educated, stay protected, and internalize this. When a deal feels too perfect, there's usually something hidden underneath.